today, I'm not going to make a card. I'm going to talk about inspiration. And the reason I'm going to talk about inspiration is a lot of my customers really feel that they're having a hard time capturing the one-of-a-kind look when they're making cards. And so they'll come to workshops and they'll copy the cards that I create, and they love those, don't get me wrong, but they want something personal, something that they can send to a friend that's truly a one-of-a-kind card. And I find that everybody gets to the stage where they want to create something personal, something that is inspired from within. So how do you start doing that is around finding inspiration. And I have the Stampin' Up! Catalog here because one thing that I think people miss about the catalog sometimes is that it is really first and foremost to me an idea book. And it always has the term idea book there. And you can miss that. So if you covered up catalog, what this is an idea book. And it's an idea book forever. So it's a catalog just for this year, from 2010 to 2011, but it's an idea book forever. So there are a collection of cards in the catalog, and on every single page, no matter what page you turn to, you're going to find beautiful card designs. So I hate to say this being a demonstrator, but take away from your mind the idea of buying anything. Go to the pages where the stamps are that you have bought already and look at the ideas that are there. So that's step one. You're going to find that there are already several ideas there for the stamps that you have. Now, step two, go to a page where you haven't bought the stamp and still don't buy the stamp yet. Just look at the card there as a sketch card, and you'll hear me use this term every now and then. A sketch card is a card where all I'm really looking for is the layout. So there's a card base here. It's a tall card. There's a focal piece in the middle. It has a little border at the top, a brad, and a sentiment. It's a sketch card. I could draw it with a pencil on white paper. This is a sketch card. Let's imagine in the middle there's a strip of white paper with something stamped all the way across it. Then underneath there's a tiny strip of orange, or maybe that's peach parfait, and a tiny strip of rich raspberry that has a border punch, and a simply pear pizzazz base card. So all I need to do, take a pencil and sketch that on my grid paper, and now I can create this exact card with whatever stamp set I have. Now you might say, well, in my stamp set I don't have a stamp that long. Well, hey, check it out. That's coming from this stamp right here, which is only 3 trees. They used a technique that is very popular called repetition. So what they did is they stamped it 3 times, and they didn't stamp it symmetrically. They just stamped it 3 times across, which gives a beautiful effect of a little forest or a little line of trees. You could do this with any tree you have in your stamp set, or with a house in your stamp set, or with a bird in your stamp set. So repetition is a technique you could use on your sketch card to create something that's all yours. So that's the second step. First step, find the pages with the stamps that you have and look at the samples. Try and copy them. When you copy them, you're going to find that you're going to change something. Next step, find the cards that you don't have the stamps for and look at them as if they were only a sketch. They serve as a basis for you to have a layout. All right? If you do those 2 steps with this year's idea book and catalog, you will end up with at least, and I've sat down with a calculator and kind of calculated the possibilities, at least 200 cards. So, and that's the very least. That's saying that you basically did each card with 3 stamp sets and 3 different colors of base card. You know, you'd end up with hundreds of cards. So that's the first. One more thing I want to tell you. The instructions for all the cards found in the catalogs is available to you. So you would speak to your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and that person can give you the list of instructions for all the cards in the catalog. if you go to my blog and you make an order online with my name selected as demonstrator, I will automatically mail you the kit that explains how to make every card in the catalog. So I encourage you to go out to my blog and just order anything you want, even if it's something small, and I will personally mail you the instructions for every card in the idea book and catalog. Challenge cards they could come from blogs, they could come from Flipco stampers. They have a challenge I do every year called Virtual Stamping Night. But what's special about challenges is they make you think out of the box. So a lot of times when you're making cards, you're thinking, I want a beautiful card, and you don't have a concept in your head. And concept design is really important. And I think a lot of times because, companies like Stampin' Up! Do have these perfectly coordinated sentiments with every stamp set, we don't have to think about concept. It's kind of done for us by default. Well, challenges help us learn how to design with the concept, even though the stamp sets may already be coordinated for us that way. And what you'll find that you'll do is you'll actually mix sentiments from one set to another as you begin to think of the concept behind your design. So for instance, this was a card I did as a challenge response. The challenge was create a card that shows something that you did in your childhood vacations or your summer vacations as a child. And I thought of when my mom used to take me to the New York Aquarium. And I thought about how much I used to love the aquarium. And I used to stand in front of the tank and wish I could jump in. So thinking about those pleasant days and having a concept in the challenge encouraged me to create this layout. I was trying to emulate looking at water. And I think this card could actually be a porthole on a boat as well. And in the inside, there's little cutouts of fish and the little plants underneath the water and a little shell. And then I used some of the blue gemstones to act as bubbles. And I even used one of my Stampin' Up! Stamps to stamp some kind of bubble flowers that bubble up to the top. And then, remembering that I used to wish I could jump in, I added the sticker, which is a goggle. And then I gave it the sentiment, best fishes. So I would have never made this card if I hadn't been playing in that challenge. That concept would have not come to me on the fly. So challenges help you to explore the concepts that are possible and enable you to add storytelling. And this is really especially useful for scrapbookers because a lot of times the whole goal around scrapbooking is not just showing a picture, but also telling the story behind the picture, the feelings that the people had on that day, or the theme or the concept behind that image. And by adding visual elements like these to a scrapbooking page, you supplement the picture of the child standing in front of the aquarium, and you kind of translate the concept of what was being felt or explored or enjoyed. So I think challenges are a really good thing to explore because they force you to think out of the box and to add the idea of conceptual design to your repertoire. Start with split coats because they have a lot, but a lot of bloggers also offer free prizes. You'll notice in the store that these embellishments that you buy, this one came from Imaginesque. On the back, this is a new trend that's happening now. They're actually putting ideas on the back so that you have an idea of how to use what you just bought. So look on the back of all your product packaging, and I bet you'll find a secret little idea on the back that you can try. Take the idea, go ahead, try replicating it, but again, you'll want to change something. Maybe you don't have stripe paper, and maybe it's not a snowy day, but it's a fall day. So here's another one. This is a Seven Gypsies rub-ons. They give an idea on the back for a mini album cover. So they're actually using all of their rub-ons on one surface there. But it's an idea. And what's really nice is the instructions are right there. There's another packaging. And what's neat about this packaging, and this is from Making Memories, on the back, what they did is they actually provided some journaling cutouts that you could use that coordinate with their letters. So, bottom line is, for inspiration, look at the packaging the packaging can be very helpful.